Hi, I'm Sharmaine. Welcome to Curiosity Over Fear, where we have the difficult conversations about overcoming fear with courage and curiosity. So, whether you're looking to change something with your career or just everyday life, I invite you to join me on this journey to be less fearful and more daring. Welcome back to our bonus episode. So, last time we explored why we hide and how curiosity can help us begin to lift our masks. Today, we're continuing that conversation and diving into what happens when curiosity leads us into vulnerability and how self compassion helps us stay grounded when we finally let ourselves be seen. So, sooner or later, if we keep following curiosity, we eventually reach vulnerability, the point where understanding turns into sharing. Because once you understand what you truly feel or need, the next step is often to reveal it, to take off the mask and let someone see your truth. This is the bridge that connects us, sharing who we really are. As one author put it, vulnerability provides the bridge between curiosity and sharing with vulnerability creates a connection that feels authentic. That is where genuine connection happens, when we have the courage to say, this is me, this is what's really going on. And what I've noticed is that when I share openly with the people I truly love and trust, the ones who genuinely care about me, our connection deepens. They seem to love me even more. But okay, so let's be honest. This is hard. Even with all the self-awareness in this world, the moment of actually lowering the mask in front of someone can be terrifying. Brené Brown found in her research that the root of our reluctance to be vulnerable is the belief that we are not worthy of love as we are. But she also found something else, that the people who have a strong sense of love and belonging believe they are worthy of it. They choose to embrace vulnerability, not as a weakness, but as a necessary courage. In her famous TED Talk, Brene said that those who live wholeheartedly had the courage to be imperfect. They were willing to let go of who they thought they should be in order to be who they were. Vulnerability was not comfortable for them, but they considered it fundamental to living a rich, connected life. There's even a term for this, the beautiful mess. In one study, people imagined being vulnerable themselves, like admitting a mistake or asking for help. And they thought, if I did that, I'd look weak or messy. But when they imagined someone else doing it, they saw that person as strong and courageous. Think about it. When a friend opens up and cries in front of you, do you think they're weak or do you actually feel closer to them? Most of us feel the latter. But when we're the ones with tears in our eyes, we assume it's off putting. It isn't, it's human. To others, your vulnerability looks like courage, and honestly, this is a lesson I keep relearning. When we drop our masks and share our humanity, we give others permission to do the same. Someone has to go first and say, here I am, imperfect. That small act can unlock a me too moment on the other side, a sigh of relief that says, oh, we're being real now? Great, I'm imperfect too. And that's how empathy is born, how a casual relationship deepens into real connection. Vulnerability is contagious in the best way, and it starts with small, brave acts of truth. Now, let me be clear, being vulnerable doesn't mean spilling your guts to everyone all the time or abandoning all personal boundaries. It's important to choose safe spaces and supportive people for our most tender revelations. But not everyone has earned the full access to your heart, and that's okay. Brene Brown often emphasizes this. You share your story with those who have shown themselves capable of loving you for you, not with those who might misuse it. In the words of the wise saying, share with people who earn the right to hear your story. So, as we talk about taking off masks, it's with discernment. Start in your most trusting relationships, or perhaps with a therapist or a support group where vulnerability will be met with empathy. Practice in small steps. Maybe you reveal one honest thing about how you're feeling today, or you admit, actually, I do need help with this to a close friend. Each time you do, notice what happens. Almost certainly, you will still be standing. The world won't end. In fact, the relationship will likely feel a bit warmer and more solid. And here's the beautiful ripple. By being real, you give others the permission to be real too. We live in a culture obsessed with perfection, with always looking like we have it together. But when you drop the mask and don't fall apart, you send a quiet but powerful message. It's okay to be human. That's empathy in action. It's how connection deepens, not through flawless performances, but through honest moments that remind us that we're all just trying to do our best. Ultimately, taking our mask is about stepping into authenticity, being ourselves without the pretense. Yes, that sounds lovely, and it is. But let's acknowledge that authenticity is not a one time switch you flip. It's a practice, a gradual unfolding. Brene Brown defines authenticity as the daily practice of letting go of who we think we're supposed to be and embracing who we are. I love that definition because it highlights two things: frequency, daily practice, and letting go. Every day, in small ways, we have the opportunities to choose honesty over performance, to let go of the should and embrace the is. For example, today you might catch yourself drafting an email at work filled with jargon just to try to sound impressive or smart, and then realize, actually, I can say this more simply as me. Click. Now, one mask has just dropped. Or you might tell your family, you know, I actually don't like this show we always watch. Can we try something else? A small reveal of a true preference instead of going along. These little moments are the training ground for authenticity. Each time you take a mask off, no matter how trivial it seems, you are building the muscle of being real. One thing that helps immensely in this process is self compassion. Why? Because as soon as you decide to be authentic, guess who might show up uninvited? Yep, you guessed it, that old critic in your head saying, oh, here you go, making things about you. No one cares about your feelings. Toughen up. We all have some version of that voice, born from past shaming experiences or cultural conditioning. This is where we need to meet ourselves with kindness. Self compassion means treating yourself like you would treat a dear friend, with understanding, patience, and forgiveness when you mess up. Self compassion has three components: mindfulness, like noticing our pain without exaggeration or avoidance; common humanity, remembering that we're not alone in our struggles; and self kindness, actively comforting ourselves rather than attacking ourselves. When you start to take off a mask, say you finally express something you've been holding in, and then that inner critic screams, you shouldn't have done that. Self compassion steps in like a loving friend and say, hey, it's okay, you're human. It's brave that you shared. No matter how it turns out, I'm proud of you for being real. This gentle approach isn't just nice in theory, it's incredibly beneficial. People with higher self compassion tend to have a greater happiness, optimism, curiosity, and connectedness, and a lower anxiety of fear of failure. In other words, being kind to ourselves makes us more open and curious and helps us feel more connected to others. That makes sense, right? If I give myself permission to be imperfect, I won't cling so desperately to my mask to appear perfect. I can extend that same acceptance to you too, because self compassion creates a safe internal home for authenticity to grow. Carl Rogers calls it the curious paradox. When I accept myself just as I am, then I can change. I know it sounds backwards. How can acceptance lead to growth? But he discovered that real transformation starts with self acceptance. When we approach ourselves harshly, I think I should be this way, I need to fix myself, we just trade one mask for another, the mask of perfection. Growth doesn't happen through self criticism, it happens through compassion. When we say, "This is me and I am enough as I am, I still want to grow, but I don't need to earn my worth," something shifts. In that space of acceptance, change happens naturally. We take more risks, we speak more honestly because we're no longer afraid of our own flaws. And when the real us, our quirks, passions, sensitivities, can finally breathe, and those are the parts the world needs most. Okay. As we near the end of this discussion, I want to gently tie in all these threads together. We've talked about the mask we wear out of fear, fear of not being accepted, fear of being hurt. We've talked about using curiosity as a new lens to look at ourselves and others with openness instead of judgment, and how that builds empathy and eases fear. We explored how vulnerability, as scary as it is the birthplace of real connection and courage. And we highlighted the need for self compassion in allowing ourselves to be authentic, knowing that being kind to ourselves actually makes us more resilient and more connected. And honestly, at the heart of all this is about connection with ourselves and with each other. Empathy, compassion, authenticity, these are big words, but they all simply point to real connection. The kind of connection where you can sigh and say, "Ah, it feels good to be seen." The real me, not the act. It's the relief of a burden set down, the comfort of coming home. And it's my belief that we all deserve that kind of connection. We're wired for it, as science and our own hearts tell us. So maybe the next time you feel tempted to put a mask on, perhaps you're about to say yes out of obligation or hide your tears from a friend, you'll remember something from our time together today. Maybe you remember that being curious instead of afraid can lead to understanding, or that showing a crack in your armor might actually invite someone else to finally breathe and say, "You too? I thought I was the only one." Maybe you'll recall that others see your courage even when you feel like a mess. And above all, I hope you remember to be gentle with yourself. Removing masks is a tender process, one that requires patience and love. If you peel back one layer and reveal your face a little bit more, celebrate that. And if you find you need to put a mask back on for a while, that's okay too. Just do it consciously and kindly tell yourself why you need it, as you would comfort a child who's not ready to let go of their security blanket just yet. And in time, you will build the safety internally to set it aside. The masks we wear are not permanent parts of us. They're more like costumes that serve a purpose at one time. We can thank them for trying to protect us. They came from a good place, and also let them know that we don't need them as much anymore. because we have something stronger now: curiosity to face our fears, courage to show up as we are, and compassion for every misstep along the way. And little by little, mask by mask, we uncover our true face. And we discover it's worthy of being loved and seen just as it is. Thank you for listening and for being here with me without our mask in this human moment. Stay kind to yourself. Stay curious. Until next time. If you enjoyed this podcast, please make sure to leave me a review so that I can send you a free Curiosity Over Fear sticker. Then after writing the review, claim your free gift by taking a screenshot and sending it to me via direct message on Instagram at Curiosity Over Fear. Thank you for joining me this week on Curiosity Over Fear. If you haven't already, subscribe so you can get a reminder to tune in every other Thursday for new episodes. And remember, always ask yourself, what would be possible if you led with courage and curiosity?